Today, we are becoming obsessed with play and with yourself, and probably some dancing and disco balls along the way, because today's guest is none other than Sandy Spady, who is a master public speaker committed to inspiring positive change and empowering individuals. I met her a couple times over the years, and once you meet Sandy, you do not forget Sandy, and you see her everywhere. She is a master at saying yes, getting involved in the community, being there when somebody needs something positive, change inspiring, playful. She has a wealth of experience as a change maker, entrepreneur, thought leader, visionary, and she is amazing at connecting audiences. I, Sandy, have gotten to see you work your magic 2 or 3 times over the last 6 months, and it inspires me to be a better speaker. It inspires me to bring more fun. I am even jumping off the bio so quickly, but one of the events you and I both spoke at was the Embolden Network conference. And I spoke and I stayed on stage, and I knew that room was a bit big, and it was hard to kind of speak and hold the audience captive. And so I was being big as I could on stage. And then Sandy gets here and she's walking through the tables in the crowd. And I was like, what the heck? I should have done that. I was like, if I went after Sandy, I would have stole your move.
It's totally yours to take. I love people. I have to be with people. And so I want to be in front of them. And someone always gets highlighted to go speak to. And that's what I love, the energy of people. My entire life. I love it.
And that is one word that I would describe you is energy. So I'm so excited to get into today. Thank you so much for coming on the Becoming Obsessed podcast. And let's just kick this off. Sandy, I want to know, what role does play in your life? How are you incorporating play? Because it is very apparent that you are.
Yes. Okay. Life is meant to be fun. You know, my entire life, I've worked with people through chambers, nonprofits, fundraising, events. I've closed down streets for dog days, had dancers come in. If I have to do something, we're going to have fun because life is too serious. There's so much seriousness going on right now. And we have got to bring joy where we can bring joy. And so one of the things I love to do is dance on my talk show. You can't be on my talk show unless you dance, right? I always, if there's a good song, I'm like, break out, let's dance. Because dancing is, a release of energy and joy, and it kind of loosens up people. Some people run and hide like, oh my God, I'm not doing this. But that's okay. You don't have to. But I want to bring that joy to you, right? Life is too serious and we got to have fun and we've got to dance.
A question I've been asking myself lately at the end of the day is, what did I do today that was unproductive and joyful? Like, not just getting a walk in to get my steps in. And the answers I most often come by is dance and singing, like in the car singing. And if my little watch here says move, I get up and put a song on and I dance for a few minutes in between work.
I love it. I love it. It's the little things. I did a whole keynote on the little things of joy, and I did one on Cool Whip. You can't see it because it's melted right now in my cup. But every morning I go and I get in the fridge and I have that whip, the standing whip, and I just whip it on up, and I either put cinnamon or sprinkles, and I'm like, that's my joy, God. Thank you. It's finding those little joys throughout the day that helps you get through that day.
I know that everything you do when you show up in the community, you bring play and joy. I want to know, when you're by yourself or when you're planning out your day, is it just now a part of who you are and you don't have to really plan for it? Or how are you actively incorporating play and those unserious moments?
Oh my goodness. I literally, if anyone would look in my windows, I'm either talking to my dogs, dancing, a song comes on my Sears, and I'm just like out dancing, singing. I talk to myself. I talk to God throughout the day because we are business partners. If you don't have him for your business partner, I'd suggest asking. And it's by the grace of God, that's what God gave me is joy, right? And for a lot of years, I still had joy, but I was sucked in someone else's world. And so I really had to sometimes fake it, but I always had it. And I think that's what got me through my really dark times. And now I am so free, right? When you're free and you have peace in your world, you're unstoppable, and you just can't be taken down. And so I want others that are stuck in that heavy darkness sometimes, that I can give them joy, right? and maybe some quiet joy and listen to them, or what do they need? Like, let's do it, because I've been there. I've been in the dark spots, but by the grace of God, joy's always got me through it.
Which is so powerful and beautiful because it's those dark times that it's hardest to hold on to it. I'm really curious if we rewind all the way before some of those times. Sandy, what were you like as a kid? Like, were you this ball of energy then, or did you kind of find it as you went along?
I was double T troublemaker. I live with ADHD and I have dyslexia. I don't know if I can say that now. Now I know in my 50s what I have. But like, I didn't sit still, and I understand why. But I had to be involved in everything: annual staff, cheerleading. If there was something to run for, I ran for it, speech, like everything, because that people, right, is my thing. And I was an Irish dancer for O'Neill, Nebraska, small town, got on that shamrock for 18 years. But I had fun. I've always been fun, fun, fun. And even out of high school, I was a district manager for the buckle stores and vanity stores. And I had like 3 states, and I had 150 women. And I love mentoring. I love mentoring and that teamwork and making success together. And I've always just brought joy. You work hard and play hard. That's me, right? And it's through, even as a child, like I was fun. 8th grade, I won a talent contest with Heidi Shaw. Ladies' night. Still could whip it out, right? Feel all right. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a love of life. Honestly, my parents had a small restaurant growing up, and I was in 2nd grade, and I bussed tables and I talked to people. I found my love for people in my voice. And that is just my God given gifts, right? And we all have our gifts, and it's just like embracing them.
I love that you threw a little phrase in there that we hear all too often of work hard, play hard, because I am this year rebranding it to work hard, play harder. And not like play harder, how people say it, where it's like go to the club. No, we're going to break down and do a puzzle like every night. Like I have a sticker book, it's a paint by sticker book, and I'm pulling that out instead of pulling my phone out. And it's like, how are we just playing more? Because Sandy, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I sometimes just feel like I don't know what to do outside of work. And we both kind of do a lot of different things when it comes to work. We have our own businesses, we do things for people in the community. But sometimes, like 2024 was a wake up call where I was like waking up, thinking about work, going to bed, thinking about work, and almost didn't know what to do with myself if I wasn't working or on a computer or stressing about work. And so this year it's all about work hard, but play harder.
Love it. I love it. I'm a very faithful person, and I always wake up with God. I go to bed with God, and but I am the girl with the colored pencils, the crayon books. I still want to play games. I love charades. The little Sandy in me with the bright eyes and the big ideals, and I still love it. We should have a coloring party. We all color, right? And then you put your name on it and you put it on the fridge like you did when you were little. We got to bring all those little joys back to adulthood. Who says we have to grow up?
Yeah.
Nobody. We
And
don't
so
have to.
often when I was in my early 20s, I was like, okay, I'm an adult now. And I say, I definitely was more of an adult at 22 than I am now at almost 29. I'm a kid again. In any way I can be, please let me go back to that childlike wonder, that play, that joy.
Why do you think coloring books came back for adults? Everyone has it in us. It's that
Oh, yeah.
little time throughout the day that you got to release and be creative. And I'm very creative. But yeah, why do they come back? We're not the only ones.
For me, what it really is I need to be doing something with my hands so I can't pick up my phone on accident because it's such second nature to me now. It's just like nice to be doing something and get very present in the moment. When you talk about a coloring party, I told Sandy this before we hit record. In March, we're having our very first Becoming Obsessed party in honor of our new branding and this idea of playing more in 2025. So it is going to be a party to play, but it's going to be for my birthday too.
Double whammy birthday celebration. I love it.
You are a person who loves people, you love talking to people, you love that energy, and you said the word embrace. Like embrace who you are. And I want to know, how did you start to embrace who you were? Did you ever feel like, oh, I'm too much, or I talk too much, or how did you learn to really embrace who you are?
Well, as a child and growing up in high school, I got in trouble a lot. because I didn't want to sit still. I understand now why I couldn't, but you just really have to embrace where you're at that time on your journey, right? We all have that journey of things we go through. And instead of fighting it, embrace it, work with it. This year, my word is focus. Sometimes you have to let go of things to be present in the things you really want to be important about. And so at that moment where you're at, you just have to embrace where that part of your journey is and just work with it and don't fight it.
So often people tell us to be ourselves. It's like, oh, be yourself, especially in business. If you have an online persona or you're building a personal brand, it's like, be yourself. Yourself sells. But no one really gets into how to be yourself. I know this is something that you know how to help people really find themselves. Or what's your advice? How do we know who we are and find who we are?
Sometimes you just have to write down, like, if I was looking at myself as a third, like a second person, and what would you see? What do you like and you don't like? Sometimes you have to write down, like, who am I? How do I want people to see me? And then who do I want to be? And it's really finding out your super strengths. I believe in finding your super strengths and embracing your weaknesses, and then you're stronger because you're not fighting to be someone else. I don't care if you want to dance, if you want to sit in the corner. Like, we all have such great strengths. I'm an extrovert, but introverts are so great at listening, right? They horn in. They're very strategic in who they talk to. If you talk to one, it's a gift because they're really listening. And it's finding out who you want to be. If you want to wear those Converse and be nerdy with like a big plaid shirt and big glasses, do it. I love blazers. I've always loved blazers. I love big glasses. So just really horn in on who you are. And then it's so much better because you're not working at it. And people are drawn to your sunshine. We all have our different sunshine, but they're drawn to your sunshine. When you're trying to fight it and be someone else, like, ooh, she's so popular on Instagram, I got to be her. Man, they can see it. We can see it. I found out through years of living with dyslexia. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I saw things backwards. It's a struggle. And sometimes, yeah, I screw up when I post. But if you can't have a sense of humor and like get over it, I'm not perfect. And I hate to say it, but no one is. But I embrace that. I spelled massage instead of message. I'm like, whoops, well, that's Sandy. There I am. Caught me. I go fix it. And the true friends like tell you, like, by the way, you screwed that up. I'm like, oh, okay. And I laugh about it. But I'm fun. I can take a crowd. I can get you motivated. I can make things happen for you. Like, my gifts are my gifts. We all have those gifts. So just embrace them and not fight trying to be someone else.
I'm like, yep, that's the season. All right, we're good. That's the knowledge. Because becoming obsessed is become obsessed with yourself and then become obsessed with your life and your community. And to do that, so often we just have to embrace who we are and where we're at. It's not, oh, I want to be better. Yeah, that's great. We all want to grow. We all want to improve. But how can you just love yourself for who you are now with your strengths and your weakness and those little mistakes? And like you said, how do you find joy in them? How do you just take the pressure off a little bit more and laugh about it?
And that's one thing I've noticed with Women with Voices over the 3 years of this amazing group of women. They're scared to death to share their story, their journey. And then when they speak and it's like things just lift off of them, they're like, wow. They're like flipping rebirth of new confidence, right? And it's so beautiful to see that. But it's taking that step into that journey of the unknown. And that's what I love about public speaking. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I have something to share. So I'm going to share it. And so many of us have something to share, but it's taking that first step and then just doing it. And that's what I love. People always say about Women with Voices is that it's a safe space. I mean, we had some really dark stories. I remember one speaker, the first year, she from Uganda, Africa, CJ, and she stopped in the middle. She's like, I've never said this out loud before in my journey. Like, she's like, I don't think I can do this. And we all literally got up and hugged her. And then she said it. And 2 weeks later, she's like, I am still embracing the freedom I have from sharing my story. Like, that's the stuff that is like amazing.
So for everybody who is listening, Women with Voices, Sandy, let's just take a step back and really explain what Women with Voices is. And you said it's going 3 years strong. I just started attending and joined the Facebook group in the last probably 6 months, and I can see what you're talking about. I really want people to get a full idea of what Women with Voices is, where that came from.
I had the gift that people open up to me my entire life. And I hear these stories of these amazing, successful women. We would look at them and are like, oh, yeah, look at them. They're so successful. And then they tell me their journey. And I'm like, hold it, stop the press. You got to share that. Like, you got to share that journey. And so 3 years ago, I had a successful attorney, Heather Vogley. I had Shelley Hood and Victoria Kilcoff. And they all had different journeys, different ages, different backgrounds. But the journey is what made them who they are. And so for 3 years, every month, we had someone tell their stories. One speaker, a panel, two speakers, doesn't matter. But the freedom that these women get when they find their confidence through their voice, because we all have it, but we don't use it sometimes. And that's what I love to speak about high school girls too, about finding your voice. But for 3 years now, I've seen just the glory of women build confidence, wanting to write books, take the stages, start their own businesses. It's the freedom of your voice. And so this year, we're going to change it up a little bit. We still have our monthly coffees, but women coming together in a safe spot is really what it is. But we're going to do quarterly events and make them bigger, kind of like what you're doing, right? More fun celebrations. So in March, we're going to have an author event because so many women are writing books. And so we're going to have them come in, people that are in the process of writing a book, women that have written a book, and we're going to have an event. And we're going to share snippets of our story. Women with Voices is really just a group to build confidence from within, to be kind to each other, support each other, and it's a safe space. So every month we have our coffee at the winery and deli. And we're just friends. I've had shitty friends in high school, grade school, whatever, 20s. We're done with those. We grew up, ladies. We're done being crappy. We're going to be nice to each other, and we're going to support each other. Because in all the years when I sold TV advertising, print, radio, we all did something great. Every one of us does something great. We just do it different. And when I want to say the word competition, it's great because we all do great things. And so I really try to help women collaborate, start things, do things, and love each other, plain and simple.
We already have had one episode released with somebody I met at the first Women in Voices event I went to with Shannon, Curran Anderson. And then later today, I'm recording with Tina B. And that's going to be another fun one. And so it really is such a space where we show up and can step into the room feeling a little bit more open and willing to be vulnerable than you would in a networking, like a typical networking space. But with Women in Voices, it is like people can stand up and share their story in a space where everyone is going to smile at you and love on you. We are going to give you the biggest hug and say, good job, because you just got better. And it's that journey and that safe space, as you're saying, where it's like, yeah, come and play with the skill. I always like to say, do something you're bad at. Like, do something you're bad at instead of try something new. That can be hard because as perfectionists and high achieving women, we want to be good at it, even though it's brand new. And so it's like, even if you're bad, quote unquote, at speaking, it's a space to be like, well, give it a go. See how it feels. Try it on.
Yes, it's so important. That's why I started Take the Stage workshops last year, because so many women say no to opportunities. No, I'm not going to speak at that networking event. No, I'm not going to speak at that conference because they're scared to death of speaking. And I'm like, let's take that out. Let's give you the tools to do it and then just do it. And the ladies that have gone through Take the Stage have just like taken stages. And not all of us want to take stages, but all of us have something to sell, a service or a product. The best way is through storytelling, right? Mm-hmm. And so I love giving the tools for women. And I look at someone that says, oh, I didn't do that. And I'm like, okay, next time pick up the phone and call me because we can make it happen. Like one of my things I love to say is, what do you want to do? If it's not happening, let's create it. And then let's do it. And if someone says you can't do it, that's even better because we're doing it. You know, everyone needs a coach. I was a cheerleader. I was a high school cheer coach at Scotia Central Catholic, Crofton High School. They're still my girls no matter what. But I've always been a coach. I always see people for what they can do, right? Sometimes we don't see what we can do ourselves, but other people do. And I always look at someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, as I'm speaking to them, I'm like, okay, we need to connect you with this person. Let's do this event. Let's do this collaboration. Like that's my strategic powers inside of me. But I see it. And so I want every woman to see what I see in them. Mm-hmm. And then let's do it.
And it's so powerful when somebody else sees that in you and you can kind of shed those limiting beliefs a little bit and say, like, you know what? Okay, like, let's give this a go. I'm dyslexic too, so the whole shifting of words thing, I feel ya.
Yeah,
You,
I just realized that. And I'm like, I'm going to start telling people, like, it's okay to say, this is what I have. Okay.
mhm,
Am I any different? Do you like me worse? Well, then you're not me, people. And if you are, let's just have fun and celebrate. Because who cares? No
yeah.
one's perfect.
And with autocorrect now, it's like, we get a little help along the way.
Yes. It's funny. I always tell people I use voiceover because I'm busy, right? And I do my voiceover text. And I'm like, sometimes I don't go through and fix them. And if you can't figure out, then you're not my friend because I'm not going to go through and fix them. Just guess. And half the time it really makes you laugh. So, but that's a part of, I think the older you get, the more you less try to be perfect and you just try to
Mhm.
embrace who you are. And that's why I love talking to junior high. In high school, I talk for the Heart of a Child Ministries, and then I'm actually talking to the Alcorn Athletic Club in February to young girls. Because if I could have what I see now in my vision when I was in eighth grade, my life would have been different. And I want to catch them young and pump them up with confidence so they don't make some of the mistakes maybe we did, right? I mean, we're
Yeah.
all going to make mistakes, but I just want them to know where they can go.
They're going to make mistakes. We're still going to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
I had a chance to speak to the Central High marketing classes, and it was like, I don't need you guys to remember anything I've said today, but I want you to just plant the little seed and start to know that you can do it your way. And you'll make mistakes along the way, but like, you don't have to follow somebody else's dream. You don't have to do it the way that society is telling you, following the status quo. And there's so much pressure on high schoolers now. It's insane. And so just being able to say, like, hey, I'm figuring it out my way. And there's bumps along the way, and there's bumps and bruises, and you're going to make mistakes. But listen to yourself and find what you're saying. Embrace who you are, find your passions, find your strengths and weaknesses, and don't necessarily choose a career that's just going to lean on your weaknesses the whole time. You're going to hate, and you're going to feel like you're fighting yourself.
Yes, that's beautiful. It's so true. It's about being able to ask for help. I think even as adults, we don't want to say, yeah, I need help. I need help. I need a counselor. I need a good friend. And it's finding that safe space of group of people that you can trust. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier when we're talking about women with voices, how if you don't see it, start it. If you want something and it's not around, start it. And that is actually my favorite part of Omaha. I know you're an Omaha transplant. You've been here, I think, for 5 years, 6 years, 5 years. And I'm curious, almost a comparison of how you feel about Omaha and then how it compares to other places that you lived or other communities that you've really, been a part of.
Okay. I love Omaha. Omaha is a small, big city, and working for the Greater Omaha Chamber for years. I mean, I really got out and got to know everyone, and I still do things with the Greater Omaha Chamber. I'm a chamber cheerleader. 30 decades of ribbon cuttings. I can whip out a ribbon cutting like no tomorrow. But it's what you give. Every city I've lived in, every city. I mean, I was a district manager. I traveled. I just went in and took the city. But I worked, I volunteered, I did nonprofits. What's going on? And I give a lot of my hours, my times, and my talents. But guess what? As you heard me speak in that keynote, is that you get 10 back fold, right?
Mm.
The more you give, the more you get. And you don't do it to what you get. You do it because it feels good. Because you're meeting people and that you're getting to be a part of your community. And everyone's like, how do you become a community leader? I'm like, you don't become it. It just happens because you give a lot of your time and talents and strengths to the community and you fall in love with it. And so I love someone that says, well, I really like dogs. Well, let's start something with dogs. Whatever your passion and purpose is, just start something because there's other people that are going to want to be a part of that. But if no one starts it, it's never going to happen.
That I said, that's my favorite part of Omaha is I feel like there's so much possibility here. There's already so much happening and not enough awareness about everything that's happening. But like when I was 19 or when I 2019, in 2019, I threw a music festival in like 3 months with a group of people. And I just always think if I was in Chicago, if I was in New York, like, would that have been possible? Would the community rallied around it, supported it. And same with starting businesses. We have such entrepreneurship communities here, and they're so supportive. It's always like, if you can just find the first person you need to talk to, they're going to pull you in and pull you along to the other people you need to know in that industry and in that space. And it just feels like if you want it, start it, right? Like if it doesn't exist, start it. But I feel in Omaha, there's less resistance than you would maybe have other places.
And I think that could be somewhat true, but I also think that in bigger cities, you have your community within the community.
Mm-hmm.
So you find your little community and you embrace that. But Omaha is very opening. There's so many great groups, so many startups. Like I said, I think I spoke twice for the Omaha Startup Week with the Chamber. But what you put into it is what you'll get. And don't be afraid to start something. And if you fail, just start over, right? Who cares? You don't know until you do it. But I always say regret's a bad word. You know, the older you get, like, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have left my husband 30 years ago. You know, regret's tough. It's hard to get there. Change is hard. Transition stinks. But when you get there and you're succeeding at what you want to do, it's beautiful. And then maybe sometimes that just drifts away. It's not that time of season. Well, you just do something else.
Yeah.
Or you just stay home. I always say I love elderly. I could be Julie at the Love Boat at any day of the week for the elderly. I love elderly. And I love children. I always say I could just stay home and do nothing and hang out with people, elderly and children and dogs. I don't need all of this, but right now that's what's God putting me in, right? He's putting me in all of this to share, to help women get confident, to share all the greatness that women have. Will I do it forever? I don't know. But right now God's calling me for that. But who knows? I don't know. You just go with the journey.
It makes me think of how I've been having these conversations lately about not finding your identity or attaching your identity to your work. And as much as I think I don't do that, if I was not an entrepreneur, I've been really thinking of like how much of my identity is part of like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'll talk business all day and I love it, right? It's like one of my true passions. And I think of like, if I wasn't doing that, I'm sure I'd still be content. I'd find like beautiful things, but it's those moments where you're like, without all of this, you're still Sandy. I'm still Teresa. Outside of all the accolades and the press and just the community events and all those external things, almost like you're saying outside of the house, it's like you're still Sandy.
Yes. And I think entrepreneurship's not for everyone. I mean, it's a tough gig. It's lonely. And that's why I'm starting up this Power Up Masterminds network, is because I don't want people to feel lonely in entrepreneurship, but also being in the corporate world for so many years. It's like the corporate people, they are doing really great things, right? And not everyone's called to entrepreneurship, but whatever you're called to in that season, just be the best that you can be. And that's why I love to bring together like entrepreneurs, executives, CEOs, because we all learn from each other. We all learn from each other. We've all had that experience. And that's what I love. I'm an includer. It's my top 5 is woohoo, strategic, community, positivity, and includer. That's why I love to include everyone. And I think we all have such a great story and experience. But when you come together and you talk about things and you open up, conversations and problems, that's when the magic starts.
Speaking of the Power Up Mastermind, I want to hear more about that. So I have been seeing it all over. We've chatted about it a little bit. Yeah. You've announced this list of incredible coaches. Tell me more.
For 3 years, I have had conversations with women, and they're ready for something more. How do you meet this person? How do you start this? How do you ask for sponsorships? How do you get on stages? All these questions. And literally for 2 years, I've been like thinking, taking surveys, and now I'm ready. Right? I'm like, okay, I got to do this because they want it. And so I brought in who I feel Omaha community leaders, some new leaders that are emerging, but bringing them together and then having a mastermind for their talents and experiences. But this is when it gets better. We're going to meet again. So it's in person. I'm all in person. Yeah, we'll tape it. You can go virtual. But Each mastermind coach is going to give a challenge and an action plan for your business. So not only do you just sit there and listen and go, wow, they're cool, and take notes, you get to be a part of their circle, part of their world, and part of their, like, your story into theirs. And they're going to work with you. And then we come back again and we take what you've learned, because so many times you hear a great speaker, but what do you do with it? Do you do anything? I'm a challenger. I'm an action girl. And so we're going to take that, and then we're going to take it to your business. If you're an executive or an entrepreneur, and we're going to put it to action, because I am a challenger. And so it's like learning from the best. If you had to pay for each of these people for their own programs, you can afford it. I want it affordable, and I love bringing people together, because that's when the magic happens. And so we're just going to have monthly masterminds, and then we're going to meet again that month, and we're going to talk about things. Because when I sold TV advertising, I have to write the script, I get the actors, I do the commercial, the production. But when we all got together, the production, the sales, everyone, that's when the magic happened, because that's when you talk things out. And so I'm a firm believer in coming together and talking things out. And so I'm only going to take 40 people, 40 women. I know guys are going to give me a hard time, but women are my thing. All right. And so we're going to come together, and it's going to be like a leadership class, right? And so you're going to get a directory. We're going to come up like, what do you want to do? Let's do it, and plan and talk about it. And then we're going to have, of course, quarterly happy hours, because that's where all the magic starts, right? Every conference where the magic's at the bar of really cool spots in Omaha, because I have connections. We're going to have quarterly happy hours. It's going to be a leadership. We're going to build each other up. That's what I love doing, is building you up, thinking outside of the box, and then making things happen. And so after you graduate, I believe in parties. We're going to have a photo shoot. Nothing like a photo shoot, celebration. And then you're always part of that community. You can still come the next year, even though you're not in it, but you graduated. You get to come to anything forever. You can always just show up and go to the parties and go to the happy hours. But the main thing is, my life is, I want to build confidence. And I want you to think outside of the box and do it. And so I'm starting it. I've heard it. I'm starting it. Doors are open now, and it's just going to be great. I can't wait to see what comes of it. I see all the birth of collaborations and businesses and things starting, people meeting. I can't wait to see what this group does, because it's for someone that wants the next level, someone that wants to take the step into, like, invest in yourself. I invested a lot of money the last 3 years in myself, but it's like seeing that I'm ready for the next level, the next step. And then taking the tools that you're going to get handed to you, like Taylor Johnson, she's going to talk about interviewing BWT broadcaster Van D. Okay, everyone's like, why'd you bring dudes in? I'm like, because they're really good at what they do. Okay, they're really good. Van's really a good friend of mine, and he is sharing his talents. And anything from branding, from speaking, to collaborations. I have Heather Vogeley Law, the first speaker. She's going to come in and talk about resumes and contracts. Everything I think an entrepreneur and executive needs, I'm bringing them. I'm an includer, and we're going to do it. And it's going to be a good time.
Oh my gosh, the lineup of coaches is so incredible. Some of the most fun, but also just very knowledgeable. Like, very much they know what they're doing, and they've found their own way of doing it. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be great, because a lot of times you're never going to be at the table. It's like going to dinner with the who's who's. Like, they're going to sit with you and chat with you. You're going to get to know them, and they're going to get to know you. And the best thing in business is building those relationships, so anything can happen.
Yeah. Sandy, I absolutely love having you on the podcast, and I don't know that I've told you this, but I have just taken so much inspiration from you. You mentioned being able to do a ribbon cutting. You've done 30 years of ribbon cuttings. And Sandy, until I saw some of your posts, it had never crossed my mind doing a ribbon party or a launch party for any of my businesses. You like doing that. And I know Megan Hale is also somebody in our world. Yeah. She doing these live events. That's really where this party in March, like, the inspiration came from you two, and being like, you know what? Let's have some more fun. Let's really get out there. It's just so awesome being connected to you and being able to see the incredible communities and events and energy that you create, and that you also just promote and get involved in. I have a few last questions. First, when it comes to Omaha, what are you currently obsessed with?
So much, right? Right now, I just, we're getting ready for the Win with Voices Summit. and these speakers that are giving up their time. Like, that's what impresses me. They're all so successful and just beautiful souls. But I'm really obsessed with just wanting women to want more.
Mm.
I want women to want more. I want women to speak. I want women to take those stages, to write those books, to start those collaborations. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm 57. I have how many years, and who are we going to take up on this path? Who are we going to climb up? Like, a true leader is helping someone, training them, coaching them, and then they become better or they become louder. And that's what's beautiful. And I want other women to become louder and bigger and better. And I want all of them to do it. Because I'm not going to be here forever, but I'm going to be your cheerleader now when I can, right? Because that's my gift and I want to share it.
It's so beautiful. And so apparent too. It's you're really living out your calling. My second question is, when it comes to self-care, when it comes to really checking in and making sure that you're taking care of, your cup is filled, what are you obsessed with? What is filling your cup these
Gosh,
days?
you're going to laugh. But I'm so faithful. Like, I'm a very devoted Catholic, and I love that we have Mass every day. I do. I'm like, I'm stopping, I'm going. There's so many great churches. I'm like, that's my happy spot. And I'm like, that's my peace, right? It's a half hour. And I couldn't survive without my faith, right? And then puppies. I got a new puppy. Hello, world. This is Winston Luigi. Yes.
Those little
I love
ears.
puppies. I volunteer a lot with the elderly. That fills my heart. They have great stories. I really kind of feel like I want to start something that people just go visit elderly. They're so lonely and they have
Mm.
great stories. My daughter, Caitlin, she's in town here. I'm enjoying her while I have her. But the main thing is sometimes you just got to dance. You got to act stupid. Every once in a while, I call it to my friend Caleb Duncan, right? We did Dance for the Chance. We're dancers. And I'm like, okay, I need to dance. Let's go out, find somewhere to dance. And just be silly. Yeah, it's really it. And do what you love. Be around the people that feel you, the people that don't let go, and have a good time.
I am a huge dancer. We've been talking about that. But I do think, especially the like 30 minutes you were saying going to mass, it is such a moment where you can sit and it's like there's no distractions. You're very present. You're able to, it just gives you this chance to think, to really be inside yourself, understand, okay, I was triggered by that, or I really liked that, and have these moments. I mean, I just grew up on my phone, right? Like I'm that generation, and just having more moments where you're not on your phone, you're not distracted, there's not two things that you're paying attention to. It's that one thing, that moment, like that's what I find the most peaceful about church actually. Is like having that moment where you're like fully present, and it just really, like you said, it's peace and it sets the tone. I go once a week. I don't go every day like you,
Oh no,
Sandy,
I know
but
I'm like crazy Catholic, but it's like I tell people, I don't care what church you go to, I don't care what you do, but just find something that brings you peace,
yeah.
whatever it is. And that's why I love Sandra Dupas. She's doing, the self-care boot camps and stuff. She took the stage and has been a speaker for One with Voices. And it's like she has great workshops on just peace, right? I love that. And we need people to teach us that. Like you said, you grew up with your phone. I often tease Van D, and I'm like, we're going to open up a school on communication, and you have to check in your cell phone, and we're going to talk. We're going to look at each other. We're going to talk. We're going to do old-fashioned thank yous, cursive handwriting, like old school things, that I think so many people don't realize that is really lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it so often feels like, oh, well, like maybe writing in cursive, like it isn't productive. We don't need to. And it's like, but what if we did it for fun? Like, what if we did it because it is silly and because it is unnecessary and because it's joyful?
It's creative. You can be
Yeah.
really creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just finding your own peace, but taking the time to do it. Got
Yeah.
to take time. I schedule it like you have to.
Mm-hmm. The last question I have, I know that you are obsessed with women authors and you're planning events to give them another platform to have their voice heard. But I'm curious, what are you reading or watching? I almost feel like when you're doing so much, it's hard to like sit down with a book. Where you're learning.
I'm constantly always have been into conferences, learning from people that are better than you. I've always invested in myself. Always, always. I probably spent close to, I don't know, a lot of money last year. But like Tony Robbins, I've taken a
Mhm.
lot of his, right? When we match up, like there's a test you can take and it match up with Tony Robbins. I'm like, you know it. Yeah. I do a lot of his 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Find that person. Mel Robbins is another one. Like you have to take the time to invest in yourself. And that's why this Power of Masterminds is like affordable, but yet you have to invest in yourself because you take it serious.
Mhm.
And then you learn, but you take the time for yourself to get better and to improve and to grow. And Tony Robbins, I've done, like I said, I do a lot of his books. Zig Ziglar, classic. Love him. I used to recruit for Dale Carnegie. Like Dale Carnegie has great books. I'm going to get certified in February for the Gallup Strength Coach Finding because I
Mm.
love Gallup, and I think people need to find out what they're good at. And so it's like really taking the time and invest in something you love. Maybe spend a little money if you have to, but never quit learning. Never. When you quit learning and quit growing, then life gets really boring. And then where are you going to go?
Mm.
Yeah, boring land. Who wants that? No, you got to invest in yourself and find out what you love to do it. Do it. Whatever you love, do it. But just do it.
Mic drop. That is going to round us off for today's episode. Sandy, thank you so much. This, like always, has been fun. And I'm so excited to be even more involved in your world and keep hearing and learning from you and your community. How can other people find you, connect with you, and work with you?
All right. Well, Women with Voices, we have a private Facebook group, a public Facebook group, and a public Instagram. And then powerupbysandy.com. And I'm going to be everywhere promoting this masterminds because I'm only taking 40 and we have less than 30 days to get that 40 people. I'll be happy with 20 or 10. Like, I just want women, right? You don't want to miss it. I mean, people have just like exploded with their life with this because we're giving you inspiration. And then just, I'm everywhere. When you least expect it, I'm going to be there. Like, yeah, there's Sandy. I'm like, yep, there I am. I'm a professional networker. But I'm everywhere. Just reach out to me. And I love to talk to people.
It's so true, Sandy. After I met you, I was like, this lady's everywhere. I got to find out what the noise is about. Well, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And if you're still with us and you had fun today, share this with a friend, send them a text if this can help them, or post it on your story and leave a review. It helps more people find becoming obsessed and live a life that they truly love.
Well, I love you. I adore you. You're so fun. I love it. And I love your heart. So I just have to tell you thank you. Thank you for just having me come today. It's a privilege.
All right, let's go get obsessed.
Let's do it. Woo! Celebrate good time.